Hello, hello, welcome back to my channel. It's me, SB. I am so glad that you are back. So, as you can see here, we are going to be working on some tatted lace. This is actually a tatted edging, but you can use it for whatever you'd like. Be creative with it. I was actually thinking this would look very pretty as, as a top, adding some more motifs going across like this. But anyways, here is the pattern that we're going to be working on, and as you can see here, it's right here, and it is pattern number 8140 in the tatting book. So all of these, if you're new here, all of these patterns that I am working is from a vintage style book, and they're all made for shuttle tatting, as you can see here. And I'm just going through and seeing if we can convert them to needle tatting, and as you can see, you can. So let's go ahead and get started. I am using white crochet thread, and I do believe this is a number 3. I always forget which one I'm using because they're not numbered, but just use whatever needle is appropriate for the yarn that you are using. So I am leaving a pretty long needle tail here, needle thread. So I am just going to work one motif with you, and then I will continue on working the second one. Anyways, let's go ahead and get started. We are going to be using the ball thread only. Let's go ahead and start with the first chain. Now, as you can see here, it's joined on both sides, but what I did after the fact, after I was done, I actually went back here and joined this chain up to this ring. So actually, when you first start out, this chain is just going to be dangling out, which you'll see here in a minute. So let's go ahead and get started. So we're going to do 3 double stitches separated by 9 picots. So that is quite a bit. I would say make your picots about maybe 1/4 or 3/4 of an inch big. I always forget this because I almost never use a picot gauge. Let's see. Yeah, it's about at the 3rd step, which is pretty normal for most of them. I think that's like 1/4 of an inch, if I remember correctly. So here it is. I usually just measure like that. So here's our nice long chain. So now we're going to go ahead and close this chain. There we go. And you actually don't want these chains to be crazy tight. You do want them to be a little loose, because if you look at our example here, I'm going to be doing a lot of this because this is very kind of complex. It's going to be coming off of here and attaching. So this is our initial chain here, and it's going to be going like this. So we're going to reverse our work, and we're going to go ahead and close off this chain. As You can see here. So for ring 1, we are going to do 3 double stitches separated by 5 picots. And once again, make your picots just a bit bigger because we are going to be joining to most of these rings. And, you know, just make sure all your picots are about the same size. All right, make sure that your chain is still facing the correct way. We are going to go ahead and close this ring, which I think my thread here got a little twisted. So I'm going to fix that by going around like that. There we go. So let's go ahead and close our ring. And we are not reversing our work. Got all twisted. Now this is what could happen sometimes, is that your chain gets twisted. This is what I was talking about, that this is a very fiddly pattern. And as you can see, I kind of stretched out my chain right there. I'm not too worried about it, to tell you the truth. I'm just going to go ahead and tie off my chain here. Secure it, or sorry, my ring. And that should fix it. So now this is what you should have. So we did not reverse our work on our first ring. So on to ring 2, we are going to do 4 double stitches. 2, 3, 4. And we are going to join to the first ring. So we're going to join to that closest picot that we can see, which is the first picot is what I'm calling it. And you may or may not need a crochet hook for this. I found that I could do it just fine with my tatting needle. And now we are going to do 4 double stitches separated by 4 picots. And 4. So here's our second ring. So we are going to close our ring, and we're not reversing our work once again. So let's get our ring closed up here. Just going to tighten that just a little bit more. There we go. Let's secure that ring. And continue on to ring 3. So ring 3 is where we'll repeat. So I'll put in a timestamp here so that way if you're working several, you can just hit the timestamp and come back here. So ring 3, we're going to do 3 double stitches. Join to the first picot of the previous ring. So let's join. We are going to do 3 double stitches separated by 4 picots. So you should have a 1 join and 4 picots. So let's go ahead and close this ring. And we are going to reverse our work once we get our ring closed. So I find that I struggle with getting my stitches to look really, really nice in this pattern. I think it's mainly due to the fact that our rings are very, very close together. If you want it to look a little neater, make your picots bigger and it'll definitely look a lot nicer. I don't know, I always default to this size of picot, so that's just what I default to. Okay, so we reversed our work. Let's go ahead and close our ring, or lock our ring in place. So now this is what your work should be looking like so far. So we have our loose chain, our rings here. So this is ring 1, 2, and 3. So now we're going to move on to chain 2, and chain 2 consists of 4 double stitches separated by 4 picots. So let's go ahead and just get everything situated. Okay, let's go ahead and close this chain and reverse our work. Reverse. Close this chain. Tighten that up. Let's make sure we got everything the way we want it to go. On to ring 4, which is essentially one of our larger rings, I should say, that we are working. And we're going to start out with 5 double stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And we're going to join to the first picot of the previous ring. So it's going to be just right adjacent to where we're working. And the first picot is going to be the first picot. So let's go ahead and join. And to complete this ring, we are going to do 4 double stitches separated by 3 picots. So let's go ahead and do that. And then we're going to do picot and 5 double stitches. And this is going to complete our ring. And we are going to close this ring and reverse our work. So for this particular tatted lace, I would suggest that you work on a flat surface rather than, let's say, on the couch, on your lap or something like that, because this one is definitely going to require you to be very mindful of where everything is landing. And I say that because this one tends to be just a little floppy and a little confusing at times, because right now, as you can see, this is what we've got. It doesn't look anything like what we have here, but we're getting there. So let's go ahead and reverse our work. Secure that ring. There we go. And now we're going to simply create a chain of 7 double stitches. So let's go ahead and do a chain of 7 double stitches. Okay, let's close this chain and reverse our work. Reverse our work. All right, on to ring 5. We are going to do 3 double stitches. And we are going to join to the first picot of our previous ring, which is ring 4. So as you can see, first picot of our previous ring. So let's go ahead and join. So now we are going to do 3 double stitches separated by 4 picots. We're going to close our ring, and we are not reversing our work. So close your ring and do not reverse your work. So on to ring 6, we are going to do 4 double stitches. So let's make sure we get everything set up where we want it to go. 4 double stitches. And then we are going to join to the first picot of the previous ring. So let's go ahead and join. And to complete this ring, we are going to do 4 double stitches separated by 4 picots. Let's close this ring, and we are not reversing our work. So let's move on to ring 7. So for ring 7, we are going to do 3 double stitches. 1, 2, and 3. And you guessed it, we are going to join to the first picot of the previous ring. And to complete this ring, we are going to do 3 double stitches separated by 4 picots. Picot, try to get everything. Okay, so for ring 7, we are going to close our ring and reverse our work. So I'm going to close my ring this way because this is where it gets, where everything wants to flip around. So I'm just going to close it while it's sitting on my surface here. Sorry if my hands get in the way, but I'm just wanting to hold everything down and secure while I close my ring here. Okay, then I'm going to pick it up. As you can see, everything just kind of wanted to flip in on itself. So I'm going to tighten that just a little bit more. And now we are going to reverse our work. So I'm going to get everything moved around here. We're going to go ahead and tie this off. Set it down here so that way I can tie this. There we go. And it is looking like a hot mess, isn't it? Believe me, it is going to fix itself. We are going to get it looking right. So we're going to work our chain of just 7 double stitches. So it's going to be a mirror image of what we did here. So chain of 7 double stitches. So make sure we get that chain in there. Sometimes we got to just tighten that double stitch. Okay, so we're going to close this chain and reverse our work. So let's close it. Reverse our work. So I like to kind of have it sitting on a surface here, so that way we don't get too confused as to where we're going. Get that a little tightening there. Just go through that. Tie that. And I'm just going to give it a quick finger press so that way everything kind of stays in place. Okay, now we're going to move on to our next ring, which is a ring 8, which is the large ring. We are going to do 5 double stitches. 3, 4, 5. Join to the first picot of the previous ring. So let's join. And we are going to do 4 double stitches separated by 3 double stitches. picot, and then 5 double stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So let's go ahead and close this ring. Let me find my thread there. Close it. I am going to place this ring, since it's a really, really big ring, as you can see here. Oop. I'm going to place this on my tabletop and just pull through. This just makes it a lot easier because it is such a big ring. Let's move that over. Start closing this. There we go. These big rings tend to separate on me and the stitches get all wonky. And this is the best way to kind of keep them from getting wonky. Okay, so that is our large ring done. And now we are going to reverse our work. So I just like to leave it on my surface like this and just reverse my work. Create a loop, go through the loop, and secure our ring in place. Just like that. So as you can see here, we are now working on down to the bottom. This one is a little wonky there. Now let's move on to chain 5, and we are going to work 4 double stitches. 2, 3, 4, picot, 3 double stitches, 2, 3, and this is where we are going to join to the second picot of our adjacent chain. So as you can see here, our work is coming out this way, and we're going to attach our chain that we're working to the adjacent chain. So it's just right here, and we're going to attach it to the second picot. So I'm counting kind of towards like how we're working out. So 1, 2, this is where we are going to join. So let's go ahead and join to that picot. We're going to do 3 double stitches. So 1, 2, 3, picot, 3 double stitches. 1, 2, 3, picot, 4 double stitches. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So let's go ahead and close this chain and reverse our work. So I'm just going to put mine down here so I can make sure that I get my stitches all settled. There we go. Reverse. Okay, let's move on to ring 9. In ring 9, our first set is going to be 3 double stitches separated by 2 picots. So 3 double stitches, picot, 3 double stitches, picot, 3 double stitches. So after your last set of 3 double stitches, we are going to be joining to the adjacent ring. Sorry, I lost my train of thought. So we're going to join to our adjacent ring on the first picot. So let's go ahead and join. And our next sets are going to be 3 double stitches separated by 2 picots. Let's go ahead and complete our ring. And once you are done with the ring, we are not going to be reversing our work. So be sure to not reverse your work. So let's close this ring. Do not reverse your work. And let's move on to ring 10. So we're going to start with 4 double stitches. And we are going to join to the previous ring made at the first picot. So our next set is going to be 4 double stitches separated by 4 picots. Let's go ahead and close our ring. And once again, we are not reversing our work. Let's move on to ring 11. Ring 11, we are going to do 3 double stitches. And once again, we are going to join to the first picot of the previous ring. So 3 double stitches, join. And then we're going to do 3 double stitches separated by 4 picots. Let's go ahead and close that ring. And we are going to be reversing our work after this ring. So let's make sure that we get our lace set where we need to go here. Okay. So now we're going to reverse our work. And I'm going to go ahead and secure my ring. There we go. And now we're going to be working a chain. Let's move on to chain 6. And I kind of deviated from the original pattern because I felt like it was, I don't know, it didn't make sense to me, so I kind of changed it up a bit, not much. So what we're going to do is we're going to do 3 double stitches separated by 2 picots. And there is our first set done. Okay, like I said, I deviated from the original pattern a bit because it did not make sense to me. So what we're going to do is we are going to join to this first chain made, and we are going to join into the third picot on this chain. So if we take a look at it, we have 1 picot here, 2, 3. So this is the one that we are going to join into. Let's go ahead and place our needle in there so we don't lose it. And join. There we go. And we're just going to continue on with our chain to finish it up. So now we are going to have 3 double stitches separated by 6 picots. All right, let's go ahead and close this chain. There we go. Let's pop this down. Once you get your chain closed, don't knot it off just yet because we are actually going to be joining to our picots here. So we're just going to get our needle and go from the back to the front through that picot. And it is basically the second picot from the inside here. We're just going to pass it through. And this is how we are going to close this chain. So now, after we do that, we can go ahead and reverse our work. And we can go ahead and secure our chain in place. And on these kind of joins here, I like to do it twice. Just give it a double knot. It's not going to hurt anything. Just to really make sure that that is secured. Okay, so we just completed our first motif. And we're going to start moving on to repeating this entire pattern. Hopefully you kind of understand how this is going to work up. I'm going to show you this example once again. So that way you can see like a kind of side-by-side comparison before we move on to the next step. So as you can see, we just completed this chain and joined to this picot here. Now this one looks a little different because I deviated from the original pattern. But anyways, so here we are on this chain. We joined here, and now we're going to work this chain again and start working our rings all over again, all the way. So really the only place that you have to join is right here for the second motif, and then just continue on. Okay, so once we get our chain joined to this picot, we are going to turn our work back over. So it's going to be like we didn't reverse our work at all. So we're going to begin working at chain 7, and we're going to start with 3 double stitches. And we are going to join to the first picot of the previous chain made. So let's go ahead and join. And we are going to continue on with 3 double stitches separated by 8 picots. All right, let's go ahead and close this chain. And now we're going to As you can see, we are working the next little motif here, and we are going to reverse our work, lock that in place, and we're going to start working our next ring, which is going to be ring 12. We are going to do 3 double stitches separated by 5 picots. Let's close that ring. And we are not reversing our work, so be sure that you are keeping your work on the same side. Remember, do not reverse your work. Secure this ring in place. On to ring 13, and we are going to work 4 double stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so now we are going to join to the first picot of our previous ring. Let's go ahead and join. And we are going to do 3 double stitches, picot, 3 double stitches. And we are going to join to the same place where we joined our last chain from the previous motif. So as you can see, we have our new chain coming out where we joined our old chain from the previous motif. We're going to join this ring to that same place. So let's go ahead and join. I hope that makes sense. It's that ring that's hanging out right here. Right there. And we are going to complete this ring. So we're going to do 3 double stitches. So 1, 2, 3, picot, 3 double stitches, picot, 4 double stitches. And that completes that ring. And we're going to go ahead and close. And do not reverse your work. And this is where the repeat is going to start for the pattern. So we're going to jump all the way back to ring 3 in the pattern. Now, once you are done making all of your little motifs, you would want to stop at the join. So right here where you join this chain, that's where you would want to stop. You wouldn't want to keep going here because otherwise you would just have this little bit hanging out. And you can just, tie it off, weave in your ends, and you're done. So yeah, that's the gist of the pattern. I am going to finish this off camera, and then I'll be back to join you guys to talk about this pattern. Okay, as you can see here, I have finished my other little motif, finished it up. Yeah. Anyways, I went ahead and cut my yarn or my thread here and ended with this long chain. This is the part where you would make the 2 rings and then continue on with the pattern. So first of all, I'm going to go ahead and weave in these ends here. And it might be helpful to have a smaller needle that is thinner, so that way it's a little easier to weave in. So as you can see, I did do a double knot right here. You can kind of see it. In my opinion, it's really not all that noticeable to the untrained eye, as I like to say. Nobody's really going to notice those tiny little imperfections. So as you can see, I just passed it through the stitches and just went straight through. And that's really all there is to weaving in your ends with lace or tatted lace. That's why I really love needle tatting, because you don't have to, you're making the lace with a needle, so you don't have to go grab another needle to weave in your ends. Of course, it is kind of a thing. Shuttle tatting, they have the advantage where they do sometimes this could be a little difficult. I put lotion on my hands, so I'm struggling just a little bit. Okay. There we go. I didn't go further. Like I said, I put lotion on my hands, so if you're going to be doing this, don't put lotion on your hands prior. It makes it hard to pull everything through and to work with everything. And I'm actually just going to use one of our tails that I just cut off and utilize that to attach this to the picot there. Yeah, and sometimes this thread is really difficult to get through the needles, the eye. It takes a bit of patience. Sometimes I could do it on the first try, and sometimes like I am just struggling right now. There we go. See, this is what I like it. When it happens, it just passes through real easily. I was struggling there for a minute. All right, so right here at the end, hopefully you can see that, we're just going to pass our needle through a loop, just like that. And we're not going to worry about tying this on there, because really we're going to tie to this picot here. So I just pass my needle through that picot, attach it, and then just simply do a simple knot. And I like to do this twice just to make sure it's really, really secure. Just like that. I'm going to do it again. Try not to undo my needle, but it's so long that it might come out. Okay, there we go. Got it. And there we go. We are now attached there. And then we just simply weave in our ends the same way. Oh, oh, I don't have enough thread here to use my tatting needle. So this is a good example. You just pull it out. This is going to be real annoying, but you can go ahead and just weave your needle through your stitches as far as you want to go. Oh, man, I cannot. There we go. Okay. Like I said, I have lotion all over my hands, so it's very difficult to utilize my hands right now. It's a bad idea putting lotion before doing this. Okay, and then we're just gonna, thread our needle. And I like to flip it this way because I'm right-handed. So I tend to like to have control with my right hand and use my left hand for everything else. Let's see if we can get this re-threaded. Okay, just wiggle it. Nope, that's not going to go through. Let's try it again. There, I kind of bit my nail for that one, but okay, I got it threaded now. And now we can just simply pull this all the way through and weave in that short little tail. Like I said, I've got lotion on my hands, so your time would be definitely easier. I'm going to have to get a tool. If you have a good set of jeweler's pliers, they're the ones that don't have the ridges, that would be a good thing to use. If you are using regular pliers like I am, just be real careful, be real gentle, and try not to do a whole lot of damage to your tatting needle. Because, yeah, don't want to damage it. And I messed up those stitches pretty bad. Don't you hate when that happens? All right. Let's go ahead and cut this. That was a bigger struggle than what I intended it to be, but that's what I get for putting lotion on my hands. What I would do next is to block my lace. That's what I did with this. I just steam blocked it. I put it on a board, pinned it, and then just got some steam and steamed it. That's what I would definitely do with this one because it is looking just very messy. It's very, very simple. If you are interested in how to block your tatted lace or really any type of yarn or fiber art stuff, let me know in the comments down below and I will try to get a video out. The way I do it is I just use steam and that's all I do. I mean, it works. There are many other methods like cornstarch and water. You can even use PVA glue mixed with water. My only thing about those two things is that it takes forever to dry. And I'm impatient, so that's why I use steam. It's not permanent, but it works. But anyways, what do y'all think about this pattern? Let me know. I think it's a little complex in my opinion. It is a very, very long pattern. Like I said earlier in the video at the beginning, I think this would look really, really cute as like a lace top because I was thinking you could do them like this and then just keep going with it, and attach it like that. I don't know. Hopefully I'm giving you some inspiration on what to do with this because you do not have to use it as edging or just as is or even like this. See? Oh my gosh, so many possibilities. I'm just like, I don't know. This pattern is very, very pretty. I love it. I like all the patterns that we've been doing, actually. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. I am actually not going to be placing the written instructions at the end of the video, simply because it is so long. I will actually have it available for download on my Ko-Fi shop. The link will be down below, and I'll try to remember to put a link up here for you guys so you can just click to go get the pattern. I do already have it written up and everything, but it's like super long, and it would be annoying to try to put it in a video that way. So yeah, I think I will make a diagram for it and put it at the end for those of you who enjoy diagrams. So yeah, anyways, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. And yeah, don't forget to hit that like button if you enjoyed the tutorial or want to see more. Leave a comment down below. What are you going to use this for? I don't know what I'm going to use it for. I have a ton of these little mini ones that I've made, and I'm thinking about just attaching them all together and then using it for something. That would be neat. Once again, thank you so much, and I will see you next time. Happy crafting. Bye.